Are you looking for asbestos removal services in Orleans, Ottawa? Hi, I'm Kyra with PatchBoyz Ottawa Asbestos Removal, and today we'll talk specifically about this. So you've either found asbestos in your home or you think you might have it. Now, where can asbestos be found? You can find it in drywall compound, caulking, tiles, mortar, ceiling tiles, vermiculite insulation, pipe wrap, vent wrap around your vents, and a myriad of other locations. Now, asbestos is 100% of a human hair in terms of thickness. So it's not something that you can see. There are certain materials that a home inspector or people such as ourselves are used to dealing with, and we may counsel you to not even get it tested because we know it has asbestos 100% of the time. And those cases are typically where it was used as an insulator and it has a specific property as an insulator or a fire retardant, and it had a high content of asbestos, and that was the main key ingredient to its property, to its fire retarding property. And those are the cases where we know 100% that it has asbestos from experience. We can't see it, but we know that, and we try to save you money in those cases. Some companies only test, and they will be after as many tests as possible. However, there are cases where you can avoid that, such as around your vents. If it looks a certain way, we would recommend against testing, because any time that we have had it tested for people that were dead set on doing so, it came back positive, and it was built specifically with asbestos to serve that purpose. So if you think you might have asbestos in your drywall compound, caulking, or any of the materials I mentioned, the best thing to do is to get it tested. And you do have a fiduciary duty to any contractors you bring into your home. You have to let them know if you have asbestos, and it is also your responsibility to check whether you have asbestos. They also have a duty to you. Now, many contractors don't follow these regulations for fear of losing the work, and rightfully so. They may lose the work, but wrongfully so, in the sense that they're not looking out for their team, they're not looking out for themselves, and they're certainly not looking out for you, because this is your home. And at the end of the day, when they're done that job, they leave. And if they have contaminated your home, you're the one that lives in that closed loop environment, that closed air environment that recirculates that contaminated air. So it's most important for you, but also very important for the company's employees. And just because there's asbestos, it does not mean that that trade will lose the work. It just means that a company that is certified in hazmat has to come in first and prepare the site, remove whatever material is hazardous. It's not toxic, it's hazardous, but we have to remove that, and then that trade can come in and do their work without a problem. So they don't always stand to lose the work, but there's a way to do this safely. Now, you're wondering, when do I have to test for asbestos? For most materials in a home, if the home was built before 1986, we're talking about Canada. I know there are regulations posted on Google that you can read that talk about the 70s and the 90s, but the internet plays host to all countries around the world, and we're talking about Canada. And here specifically, Ontario, we're talking about 1986. This is the golden year where, starting January 1st, it was prohibited to use asbestos in residential home construction. Now, there are certain materials in residential home construction that illegally were continued in use with asbestos. And to learn a bit more about that, you can contact us. But the general rule is 1986. So anything before that could have asbestos. Now, some people are proud of their home, as we all should be, and they're proud of the builder that built their home. And they will make a statement such as, X builder built my home so there's no asbestos, they're a high-end builder. I'm sorry to say that asbestos until recently wasn't considered a bad material, it wasn't considered a cheap material. It's actually a very effective material. It reduces burn rates, it slows down burn time, and it's a great insulator. It has many great properties. It's bad for our lungs, it's bad for us if in the air, but as a construction material, it actually has some superb properties. So making the statement that a particular builder would never have used asbestos in their materials is not really a valid statement, because it is a great material and great companies use great materials. Unfortunately, it's hazardous for us. So if that's the mindset that you're in, please do take that into account. It's actually a good material. Unfortunately, it's hazardous for us. Now, if you have asbestos in your home, whether you've discovered it already or we're going to test it together, and it is discovered that you have asbestos, you have to remain calm. It's like anything else. It's not to be feared, it's to be respected. And you want to stay away from altering. The general rule is you don't want to alter it without containment or the proper procedures. And when we're talking about altering, we're talking about cutting, scraping, abrading, or changing it in any manner where changing its composition or position would start to bring the fibers out of the material. Currently, it's all glued together, but moving it and using any of those previously mentioned actions could change its composition, change how it's all glued together. So that's what you want to avoid. For all jobs that we do in Orleans and all around Ottawa and the greater area, we use negative air machines, even on type 1 and type 2 jobs. This goes over and above the regulations, but this is something that's very easy to do for us. We've already invested in all the expensive equipment, and it takes very little extra time for us to add these extra layers of security to protect your family and ours whilst on site. In the end, if you think you have asbestos, or you know you have asbestos, or you need testing, we'd be happy to chat with you on the phone to see if our two families would work well together, and we'd be happy to give you a free estimate. As mentioned, the best thing is to remain calm and respect asbestos. Fear doesn't help anybody in any scenario around the world. It's just about being logical about it and being smart about it, and we can help you do that. Thank you. My name is Kyber with PatchBoyz Auto Asbestos Removal, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.